So I played Valheim for 12 hours. That was a joke. I played Runescape Dragonwilds for 12 hours, and I loved every excruciating second of it. Why is there music? Am I about to get jumped?
I've been roaming around, always looking down at all I see.
My first couple hours I thought, well, this isn't anything special. Where are all the objectives? Where are the epic feasts, the magical loot? It was just a full hour of chores and learning, and then I realized, oh, this is actually nice. I'm not bombarded with 35 objectives, 200 unimportant items, and the mechanics are actually fairly simple to understand, which is great for someone with a smaller brain such as myself. The world was beautiful, and I was easily immersed in my new home for the next 12 hours. I was able to take the game at my own pace. Not to mention, the base building in this game was fun. I'm one of the very few survival players that can appreciate a good base building system. But just when I thought I had created a safe haven and cleared all nearby enemies, I was quickly humbled. Ah! No! Yo, wait till I get a bow! That single terrifying experience, hearing the music change and seeing their eyes glow in the dark, the words hunted appearing on my screen, altered every future decision I made again. I've finally felt fear in a similar comparison to my first night in Minecraft. How do I get an iron golem? My first quest was simple. Become John Wick. I felt amazing, traversing through the ruins and eliminating all that stood in my way. I genuinely felt like Master Chief, creating a narrative in my own mind of a legendary explorer and warrior. But this world has a way of making you feel great, and then suddenly making you feel small. One second I'm Master Chief, and the next I'm Courage the Cowardly Dog. Who names a dragon Velgar? I didn't even realize this was Velgar. like what a stupid name! After getting comfortable and making the necessary changes to pimp out my home. First off, we have our teleporter for teleportation purposes. We have our kiln to create kilny stuff. We have a porch, crafting area. This right here is where the staff stay. They do their cooking, they make their potions. Little veranda to see my enemies, and my very comfortable bed. Yes, very cozy, I must say. Music. I finally gained the courage to do my first big quest. Yes, I spent 4 hours prepping for my first quest, partly because I was scared of being hunted again. Anyways, the old man asked me to walk through Shrek's swamp, but let me tell you right now, this was the first night of Minecraft all over again, except it was on nightmare fuel. This old man wants me to go through this to find a door? Now, I underestimated this game severely because my decision to do this alone may have been the worst decision I've made in my life. There were green rats and orcs everywhere. I felt like I was going to get jumped by a deathclaw as I walked through the swamp's waters. I find the blue door the old man was yip-yapping about, and I actually felt safer in a dark cave than I did in Shrek's swamp. As I ventured through the cave, cautious of each corner route, I stumbled upon traps, and honestly, it brought me some satisfaction. I thought, wow, great! That means epic loot! I'm just gonna scooch past this, jump over this, and whoa! What is that? That looks like some really good loot, I thought to myself. Let me just shoot an arrow and find out what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, there was no cool item, just a beating. I was in trouble. Despite 4 hours of preparation, I was still somehow underprepared. There were 3 of them in there. So I thought, okay, that's fine. I'm smart enough. I'll keep my distance, shoot from afar. I haven't died yet. My legendary story doesn't end here. But keeping my distance wasn't easy. My stamina couldn't keep up, and I found myself in a bit of a pickle. My priority was taking one of them down where the other one stood idle. But just as I eliminated one of them, the other one tagged in like it's a WWE Championship Tag Team match, and I couldn't do a thing! Anyways, so I run through Shrek's swamp again, back through the cave and call for round 2. This time it's gonna be different. A lot more rolling than the first fire, but it got the job done. And in return, I'm rewarded with a vault core. Not sure what it was, but I knew it was important. I stumbled across more enemies, but took a different approach, using their own traps against them, and it worked, but there were just too many enemies to handle. And eventually, I find myself running through Shrek's swamp again. Eventually, I find a way to exploit the game, and the game takes care of the enemies for me. Completing the cave, I left with 3 vault cores and thought, phew, thank God it's all over. Surely nothing else can bother the journey back home. Ladies and gentlemen, I was sleepy. Of all things that could have happened, my lack of sleep was my downfall? Are you for real? And I couldn't make it bed, so I just had to thug it out and walk all the way home with excess weight. And this is at 6 times speed, by the way. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The clip was cut down from 15 minutes of me waddling home. My next objective is to go to Gornfell, but that's quite the distance. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make
a second camp around here.
With a vault core, I was able to create a teleporter, so I thought, why not make a new campsite in a safe area of the new environment? I venture once more through the swamp and I'm greeted by these pearly gates. Before I attempt any fights, I prioritize establishing the teleporter.
We made it safely to the other side. We are in the fractured plains now. Okay, that's pretty cool.
I decided this was a nice spot, covered by walls, potential to escape in 2 directions. This is where the camp will be. Once I settle in, I venture out and see what this land has to offer me. There were new enemies, new recipes, and even ores like bronze and tin.
I just realized I found copper. Ooh, I think I found something good here. Tin ore?
Now I'm no genius, but from my experience that means I can make bronze gear. So I spend the next 2 to 3 hours gathering as much ore as I can. Of course there were a few hiccups along the way, but if I was struggling now, it definitely meant that we had no chance of checking out that tower. The time has come. I have clothed myself in bronze and I am finally holding my own against orcs and wolves. I make my way towards the tower and was presented with a very, very, very scary orc. So I took the first strike. I was careful with my positioning and wanted to strike as many arrows as I could before engaging in closer combat. And also because I didn't want to end up like Loki. When I felt confident, I logged in. Flow state, they call it. I truly felt like Thorfinn and was handling this orc better than I thought I would have. I eliminate my strong foe, and here I stand in front of the tower. Everything had been leading up to this moment. I finally get to face the boss, the dragon that's been terrorizing me this— wait, hold on. There's nothing here. Where's the dragon?
I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I thought there'd be more here.
I am, for once, after 10 hours of exploration, confused and stunned. So I talk to the ghost and he talks about this trumpet. And then I realize, I haven't even scratched the surface of this story.
Oh no! This is my worst fear!
Here I stand with my bronze and realize that I need to venture to 2 different lands on the map before I fight the boss. I'm cooked.
Okay, alright, so we've got 2 destinations to go to. Here and here. I guess I'm close to this one already, so I might as well check this one out first.
I check out the one closest to me and I realize once again that this was a mistake. This land was no swamp, and it sure as hell wasn't no pink forest. This was a whole nother beast, filled with environmental challenges and much stronger enemies. I quickly get out and reassess my plans. Acquiring iron was the next goal, and it's not going to be easy. To achieve such goals I needed one more thing, more vault cores, so I can create bases between both lands. Luckily for me, the challenge to acquire them was a lot more easier than the first experience. Right before the 12-hour mark, I created my cozy little nook right by the cliff with an amazing view. That's a lie, I just wanted to be away from all the scary enemies. And this is where I leave this story, for now. I do stream my next hours on Twitch, but if you haven't already, subscribe and stay tuned for the next 12 hours of my journey. A full second half of the 24 hours will be out as soon as I kill Felgar.